Phil Simms threw for 33,462 yards and 199 touchdowns over 15 seasons, leading the Giants to their first Super Bowl victory with one of the greatest championship game performances in NFL history. Eli Manning threw for 57,023 yards and 366 touchdowns over 16 seasons, capturing 2 Super Bowl MVPs by defeating the greatest dynasty in modern football. Both quarterbacks defined eras of Giants football, both have their numbers retired, and both are beloved in New York. And yet, somehow, the debate over who was the better Giants quarterback remains one of the most heated arguments in franchise history. What makes this comparison so fascinating? More importantly, when you break down the numbers, the context, and the legacy, who really was the better quarterback to wear Giants blue? Before we continue, if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe to the channel. Now let's dive in. Let's rewind to where both stories began, because understanding their origins is crucial to this debate. Phil Simms was drafted 7th overall in 1979 out of Morehead State.
New York Giants first-round selection. Quarterback Phil Simms, Morehead State.
A small school pick that raised eyebrows around the league. The Giants were a laughingstock at the time, coming off a 6-10 season and desperately searching for stability at quarterback. Simms wasn't the sexy pick. He wasn't from a powerhouse program, but he had the arm strength and toughness that Giant scouts believed could translate to the NFL. His early years were brutal. The Giants went 6-10 in his rookie season, and Simms threw more interceptions than touchdowns. The New York media was merciless. Fans booed him regularly at Giants Stadium. There were constant calls for his benching, his trade, his replacement. But Simms kept grinding, kept improving, kept believing he could be the quarterback the Giants needed. The breakthrough came in 1984. Under new head coach Bill Parcells, Simms finally had the coaching and system that maximized his talents. He threw for 4,044 yards and 22 touchdowns, leading the Giants to a 9-7 record and their first playoff appearance since 1963. The foundation was set for what would become one of the great quarterback-coach partnerships in NFL history. Eli Manning's path was completely different. The son of NFL legend Archie Manning and younger brother of Peyton, Eli was football royalty from birth. He was the first overall pick in 2004 out of Ole Miss, but only after a draft day trade that sent him from San Diego to New York. The expectations were immediate and massive. This wasn't a small school project. This was supposed to be a franchise-changing quarterback from day one. But like Simms, Manning's early years were rocky. He went 1-6 as a rookie starter, throwing 6 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. The comparisons to his brother were constant and unflattering. Peyton was already an established star. Eli looked like he might be a bust. The New York media, never kind to struggling quarterbacks, was brutal in its assessment of the young Manning. The turning point came in 2007, Manning's 4th season. Under Tom Coughlin's demanding system, Manning had developed into a reliable starter. But nobody, and I mean nobody, expected what happened next. The Giants went on one of the most improbable playoff runs in NFL history, culminating in a Super Bowl victory over the undefeated New England Patriots. Manning's escape from a near-certain sack and subsequent throw to David Tyree became one of the most iconic plays in Super Bowl history. Now, let's break down the statistical comparison, because the numbers tell a fascinating story. Manning played one more season than Simms and threw for significantly more yards, 57,023 to 33,462. But that's partly a product of era. The NFL became much more pass-heavy during Manning's career. When you adjust for era and games played, the gap narrows considerably. Simms completed 55.4% of his passes for his career, a solid number for his era. Manning completed 60.3%, better, but again, partly a product of rule changes that made passing easier. Simms averaged 7.0 yards per attempt. Manning averaged 7.0 as well. Remarkably similar efficiency despite playing in different eras. The touchdown numbers favor Manning significantly, 366 to 199. But Sims threw fewer interceptions relative to his attempts, 157 career picks compared to Manning's 244. Sims's career passer rating of 78.5 was above average for his era. Manning's 84.1 was slightly below average for his. The advanced metrics paint a mixed picture. Manning played in 236 regular season games. Sims played in 164. Manning's longevity was remarkable. He started 210 consecutive games from 2004 to 2017, the second longest streak by a quarterback in NFL history. Sims dealt with more injuries, missing significant time in multiple seasons. But when Sims was healthy, he was often more effective. His yards per game average of 204.0 compares favorably to Manning's 241.8 when you account for era differences. Sims threw fewer interceptions per game and had better ball security throughout his career. The playoff numbers are where this debate gets really interesting. Manning played in 12 playoff games, going 8-4 with 17 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. His playoff passer rating of 87.4 was actually higher than his regular season rating. Sims played in 10 playoff games, going 8-2 with 15 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. His playoff passer rating of 85.7 was significantly higher than his regular season rating. Both quarterbacks elevated their play in the postseason, but Sims was more consistent. Manning had higher highs. His 2 Super Bowl runs were legendary, but also lower lows, including some poor playoff performances and losses to the Eagles and 49ers. So let's dive deeper into what made each quarterback special, because the numbers only tell part of the story. I've identified 5 key areas where we can compare Sims and Manning to determine who was truly the better Giants quarterback. Area number 1, clutch performance and leadership. This is where both quarterbacks built their legacies, but in different ways. Sims was the steady leader who rarely made mistakes in crucial moments. His Super Bowl 21 performance against Denver is still considered one of the greatest championship game performances ever. 22 of 25 for 268 yards and 3 touchdowns, completing his final 10 passes of the game. That 88% completion rate in a Super Bowl remains a record. But Sims's clutch play went beyond that one game. In the 1986 playoffs, he was nearly perfect. Against San Francisco in the divisional round, he threw for 388 yards and 3 touchdowns in a hostile environment. Against Washington in the NFC Championship, he managed the game perfectly in brutal conditions. When the lights were brightest, Sims delivered. Manning's clutch reputation is built on 2 incredible Super Bowl runs, but especially the 2007 season. The escape from a near-certain sack against the Patriots, the throw to David Tyree, the game-winning drive. It was the stuff of legend. 4 years later, he did it again, out-dueling Tom Brady in Super Bowl 46 with another fourth-quarter comeback. But Manning's regular season clutch performance was inconsistent. He had 36 fourth-quarter comebacks and 45 game-winning drives in his career, impressive totals that speak to his longevity. But his completion percentage in fourth-quarter situations was actually lower than his career average, and he threw more interceptions in clutch situations than most elite quarterbacks. The edge here goes to Sims. While Manning had higher highs in the biggest moments, Sims was more consistently clutch throughout his career. When the Giants needed a big play, Sims delivered more often than not. Area number 2, arm talent and physical tools. Both quarterbacks had strong arms, but they used them differently. Sims had a cannon, one of the strongest arms of his era. He could make throws that other quarterbacks simply couldn't attempt. His deep ball accuracy was exceptional, and he wasn't afraid to challenge defenses vertically. Manning had excellent arm strength too, but he was more of a precision passer. His deep ball was good, but not great. Where Manning excelled was in his ability to fit balls into tight windows and make throws under pressure. His release was quicker than Sims, and he was better at getting the ball out when the pocket collapsed. Mobility was never a strength for either quarterback, but Sims was slightly more athletic. He could extend plays with his legs when necessary and wasn't afraid to run for first downs in crucial situations. Manning was more of a pure pocket passer who relied on his quick release and field vision. The edge here is close, but I'd give it to Sims. His arm strength was elite for any era, and his willingness to attack defenses downfield opened up the entire Giants offense. Area number 3, durability and longevity. This is where Manning clearly wins. His 210 consecutive starts is one of the most impressive streaks in NFL history. He played through injuries, bad weather, and terrible offensive lines without missing games. That kind of reliability is invaluable for a franchise. Sims, by contrast, dealt with injuries throughout his career. He missed significant time with shoulder problems, knee injuries, and various other ailments. He was eventually cut by the team and chose retirement at 38, while Manning played until he was 37. But here's the counter-argument. When Sims was healthy, he was often more effective than Manning. His per-game averages in many categories are better when you account for era. The question is whether you value peak performance or sustained production. Manning's longevity allowed him to accumulate impressive career totals and gave the Giants stability at the position for over a decade. That consistency is worth something, even if his peak wasn't as high as Sims. The edge goes to Manning here. Durability is a skill, and Manning's ability to stay on the field was remarkable. Area number 4, supporting cast and system fit. This is crucial to understanding both quarterbacks' success. Sims played with some incredible talent: Lawrence Taylor, Mark Bavaro, Joe Morris, and a dominant defense. But he also played in a more conservative offensive system under Bill Parcells that emphasized ball control and field position. Sims thrived in that system because he was accurate, smart, and didn't turn the ball over. He understood his role was to manage games and make plays when opportunities presented themselves. The 1986 Giants were built around their defense and running game, with Sims as the steady hand at quarterback. Manning played in more quarterback-friendly systems throughout his career. Tom Coughlin's offense gave him more freedom to audible and make pre-snap adjustments. Manning had excellent receivers for most of his career: Plaxico Burress, Victor Cruz, Odell Beckham Jr., and others. His offensive lines were generally better than what Sims worked with. Manning's offensive lines did decline significantly after 2012, but Manning also dealt with more pressure to carry the offense. The Giants' defenses during his era were good but not historically great, like the 1986 unit. Manning was expected to win games with his arm more often than Sims was. The edge here is tough to call. Sims had better overall teams, but less offensive support. Manning had better offensive weapons, but more pressure to produce. I'd call this one a draw. Area number 5, legacy and impact on the franchise. Both quarterbacks transformed the Giants, but in different ways. Sims took the Giants from laughingstock to champions. His Super Bowl victory in 1986 was the franchise's first championship since 1956 and established the Giants as a legitimate contender. Sims's impact went beyond just winning games. He changed the culture of the organization, proving that the Giants could develop a quarterback and build around him. His partnership with Bill Parcells created a template for success that the Giants used for years. Manning's legacy is built on those 2 Super Bowl victories over the Patriots, beating an undefeated team in 2007 and then defeating the Patriots again in 2011, created a legacy that will last forever. Manning is the only quarterback to beat Tom Brady twice in Super Bowls, and that alone makes him a Giants legend. But Manning's regular season success was more limited. The Giants made the playoffs just 6 times in his 16 seasons, and they had more losing seasons than winning ones during his tenure. Sims's teams were more consistently competitive. The edge here depends on what you value more: peak moments or sustained success. Manning's Super Bowl victories were more dramatic and memorable, but Sims's teams were more consistently good. So who was the better Giants quarterback? The answer depends on how you weigh different factors. If you value peak performance and efficiency, Sims has the edge. His 1985 to 1986 seasons were better than any two-year stretch in Manning's career. He was more accurate, turned the ball over less, and was more effective in the playoffs overall. If you value longevity and iconic moments, Manning wins. His 2 Super Bowl victories over the Patriots are among the greatest achievements in Giants history. His durability and consistency gave the Giants stability at the position for over a decade. The advanced metrics slightly favor Sims when you adjust for era. His completion percentage, yards per attempt, and interception rate were all better relative to his peers than Manning's were. Sims was more efficient and made fewer mistakes. But Manning's raw numbers are impressive. 57,023 passing yards, 366 touchdowns, and 236 games played. Those are Hall of Fame numbers that speak to his longevity and productivity. The playoff performance comparison is fascinating. Both quarterbacks were better in the postseason than the regular season, but for different reasons. Sims was consistently good in every playoff game he played. Manning had legendary performances in his Super Bowl runs, but was inconsistent in other playoff appearances. The clutch factor slightly favors Sims. While Manning's Super Bowl escapes were incredible, Sims was more reliable in fourth-quarter situations throughout his career. When the Giants needed a big throw, Sims delivered more often. The supporting cast argument is complex. Sims had better overall teams, but less offensive support. Manning had better receivers and offensive lines, but weaker defenses. Both quarterbacks maximized what they had to work with. Here's my take. Phil Sims was the better pure quarterback. He was more accurate, more efficient, and more consistent. His peak performance was higher, and he was more clutch in crucial situations. If you're building a team and need a quarterback for one season, you take Sims. But Eli Manning was more valuable to the Giants franchise. His longevity, durability, and iconic moments created a legacy that will last forever. His 2 Super Bowl victories over the Patriots are worth more than any regular season statistics. If you're building a franchise and need a quarterback for a decade, you take Manning. The truth is, both quarterbacks were exactly what the Giants needed when they had them. Sims was the steady leader who could manage games and make big throws when necessary. Manning was the durable franchise quarterback who could carry the team and deliver in the biggest moments. Comparing quarterbacks from different eras is always difficult. The game changed significantly between Sims's prime and Manning's prime. Passing became easier, defenses became more restricted, and offensive systems became more sophisticated. What we can say is that both quarterbacks were successful in their respective eras and gave Giants fans memories that will last forever. If I had to pick one, I'd take Phil Sims by the slimmest of margins. His efficiency, accuracy, and peak performance give him the edge in a pure quarterback comparison. But I completely understand the argument for Manning, and his Super Bowl victories over the Patriots are legendary achievements that can't be dismissed. The real answer is that Giants fans were incredibly fortunate to have both quarterbacks. Sims established the franchise as a winner and showed that the Giants could develop a quarterback. Manning sustained that success and delivered the most memorable moments in franchise history. Both quarterbacks have their numbers retired. Both are Giants legends. Both deserve to be remembered as great players who gave everything to the franchise. The debate over who was better will continue forever, and that's exactly as it should be. What do you think? Was Phil Sims the better pure quarterback, or do Eli Manning's Super Bowl victories make him the greater Giant? Does peak performance matter more than longevity, or do iconic moments trump statistical efficiency? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.